Hello and welcome to Langthoughts, episode 2. Today we're going to be discussing morphosyntactic alignment. Now, in the first episode we discussed the core cases of languages. The core cases we discussed were nominative. Two of the core cases we discussed were nominative and accusative. Now, not all languages divide up nouns this way. If you look at the functions of of these two cases, you'll find that they actually have three functions. Subject, agent, and patient. The languages that we were discussing grouped together subject and agent into one case and patient into another. In other words, subject and agent are nominative, while patient is accusative. Now, what's the difference between a subject and an agent? Well, a subject is the lone noun that comes with a with an intransitive verb. An intransitive verb is a verb like I sleep or I walk. It has no object, it has no patient. There is only one argument toward the verb. Now, there are some languages who divide it up differently, where the agent of the transitive noun of a patient is his own case, called the ergative case, while the subject and patient are in the same case called the absolutive case. I'm not sure if you can see what I'm writing, but this basically, to translate this into English terms, if we look at the pronouns in English, it would be like if you would say, instead of saying I sleep, me sleep. I hit him, he hits me, him sleep. That's basically what an ergative language is doing. I'll give an example. For Tibetan, the absolutive case, the case of the patient and the subject of a intransitive verb is ya. For the word yak, for the word for yak in that case is ya. So, for example, you would say, I saw the ya, if it would substitute it into English. Or ya slept. But if you would want to say in Tibetan, the yak gored the man, you would say Yaki gored the man. Yaki gored the man instead of Ya gored the man, because it is a transitive subject, and therefore it takes the ergative case. Now, this is not the only way to, these are not the only two ways for morphosyntactic alignment. There are also split systems. For example, Hindi and Urdu, which some linguists regard as the same language, have it so that they're normally, like English, like the languages we talked about in the last video, for most tenses, but in the past, the past perfective tense, they become like Tibetan. So we have, the nominative for I in Hindi is meh, but the accusative or the absolute or the ergative when the ergative alignment is activated by the tense is mujhke. So you would say, for example, मैं hit him, mujhke have hit he. And that's how that works. There are also languages called split S. Split S basically divides it depends on the verb. Each intransitive verb encodes differently. In most cases of split S, if the verb is done volitionally, for example, I went to sleep, that then the I would stay in the subject agent case. But if it's something that happens accidentally, for example, I fell, you wouldn't say I fell in these languages because you don't fall on purpose, I hope, and you would say me fall. So in these languages, intransitive sentences, it depends on the verb. Then there are what's called fluid S languages, which are similar, except that the meaning of the verb, whether it's volitional or non-volitional, is marked on the noun, which case the noun takes in an intransitive verb. So, for example, you could have one word for one verb that means to sleep and to fall, to lie down and to fall. Let's just call that Lyle. We'll make up a lower word and call it Lyle. Fusion of lie and fall. Lyle. So if you want to say I lie down, you would say I lied. But if you wanted to say I fell, you would say me lied. And that is called fluid S. Now, there is another system entirely called the Philippine alignment. As the name suggests, it is most commonly found in the languages of the Philippines, though it is also found in the non-Chinese languages of Taiwan and in Malagasy, the language of Madagascar, and some of the languages of Indonesia. In fact, Malagasy is not related to an African language. It is related to the languages of that area, the languages of Oceania and the non-Chinese languages of Taiwan, which all together are called the Austronesian language family. However, the subject of this video is not historical linguistics. The subject of this video is morphosyntactic alignment. Now, Philippine alignment is very hard to understand. It took me a while of reading grammars of various languages that have it to understand what was going on. But basically, it means that what role a noun takes is determined by the verb, but not in the same way as split S, but instead the verb is marked that the noun that takes a certain case marker is always in this case, is in that sentence in this case. For example, in Tagalog, which is the language for which Filipino, the language of the Philippines, comes from. It's the basis of the language of the Philippines, of Filipino, or Filipino, because they have no F in Filipino. If you would want to say, I buy the apple, you would say, well, first of all, they use a totally different word order where verbs come first, but we're going to stick to the English word order of subject, verb, object. So if you want to say, I buy the apple, you would say, I bumili the apple. Now we're going to have to create, we're going to have to create a marker that marks that this is the target in English, and I'm going to call it, I'm going to use the Filipino marker, the Tagalog marker, ang. I think I got that right. So if you would want to say, I buy the apples, you could also say, mi bilhin ang apples. Mi bilhin the apples. So what happens is that you see that what case one of the nouns take, each of the nouns take, depends on the form of the verb. So, for example, what I've been using is the verb billy. So if you want to focus on the subject I in this case, it would be bumil. You would insert the rhyme boom after the first consonant and become bumili. If you were to make it, if you were to focus on the patient, you would put in you would have the suffix in, which naturally swallows up the e of Billy of the form Billy, and it would become Bilin. So, mi bilhin ang apples. This is just an introduction has been just an introduction to morphosyntactic alignment. Next, episode 3, I hope, will be about historical linguistics. Thank you. And I will, especially or at least it will be a very introduction to historical linguistics via the Indo-European language family. Thank you, and goodbye for now.